set, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sound of gold and blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineer. Goes around about the 50, the 10, the 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Javon Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels feared to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride!
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night!
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into another live stream here on the Country Roads webcast, June 26th edition. And hey, what feels like for the first time in a long time, we got a joint WVU basketball and WVU football show to talk about here as West Virginia basketball picking things back up on their side of the recruiting trail, adding another freshman to this upcoming year's roster, and then another transfer that we reported on, about a couple of weeks ago now, actually came to Morgantown for a visit, and seems like the interest may be picking up there for another portal target for WVU basketball. Then on the football side of things, West Virginia adds another 2027 recruit. That's the second commit in that class they've already picked up. So we'll talk a little bit about him. They now have one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side in that 2027 class. And then in addition to that, we have the game promotions announced for this upcoming season. So we'll highlight those, let you know what you can expect to see and what you can expect to wear if you're heading up to the games as far as the crowd is concerned for some of the home games this year. Seems like there's going to be plenty of game promotions to go around. And then, of course, we got to talk about it. The 40-yard dash times that have been floating around for the WVU running backs. I told you guys all offseason, since we've been adding a lot of these pieces that we've added to that running back room, and we already know how I feel about Jaheim White, that this running back room was absolutely loaded. But if me talking about it all offseason hasn't sold you enough, wait till you see these 40-yard dash times to see how blazing fast some of these running backs are that West Virginia is going to have out there on the field running Rich Rod's offense. So that's exciting. And then last, but certainly not least, we're also going to talk a bit about Javon Small being selected in the NBA draft in the second round. First WVU player drafted since 2021. So all positive news for both sides here, West Virginia football and West Virginia basketball. So should be a fun show here. That's what I got on the docket coming at you later at night. So I won't keep you guys too long, but we do got a jam-packed show and a lot of fun stuff to get to. So we're going to dive right in. But before we get into it, just want to hit you guys with a quick reminder that are watching this, whether you're watching live or on a playback here on YouTube, you can help us out by hitting the thumbs up button. That helps out with that crazy YouTube algorithm, helps us find more Mountaineer fans like yourself. And if you're watching this live on Facebook or Twitch, be sure to come over to that Country Roads Webcast YouTube channel here. That way you can get the pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes in addition to these live streams. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can throw your thoughts in the comment section. Appreciate those interactions. Those help us grow the CRW community as well. And can't forget about our friends that listen to the audio-only version, which you can find on any podcast platform. If you listen to us that way, leave us a rating. That helps us out on that side of things. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Let's lead it off with basketball here, and then we'll switch gears and go into football, because I think we got to start it off right now talking about Javon Small. Just recently selected the NBA draft tonight, and I think there's probably no one more deserving of that. When we go back to, I don't want to rehash old feelings, bring up, bad memories again, but when we go back and think about everything that happened to in the basketball season, both, of course, missing out on the tournament, which Javon Small worked so hard for, and then everything that transpired with sleaze there afterwards. You felt really bad for everyone involved, but particularly the person that I really felt bad for was Javon Small, because you could tell he really gave it all this year, more that and then some, blood, sweat, tears, whatever you want to call it. So, to see him have this moment, at least to where, he gets this dream fulfilled. He didn't get his NCAA tournament dream fulfilled. He should have. He played 40 plus minutes sometimes. He was a warrior out there. And one reason West Virginia had the seasons they have was because of Javon Small and all the hard work that he put in. So to see that reward with him being selected in the NBA draft, kind of, I don't want to say was like the silver lining, but it made that a little bit more bearable and didn't make you feel as bad as you did before. Because, if he wouldn't have gotten drafted, you would have just been left with the worst feeling in the pit of your stomach there for how things ended for Javon Small. But I think that seeing this right here certainly makes you happy. So this is where he ends up. I'll share the graphic here that the WVU basketball account shared on their social media. The Memphis Grizzlies. Funny enough, same place Javon Carter was drafted. They got a thing for guys named Javon out of West Virginia, apparently. But he was picked in the second round, picked 48, and I have no doubt that he will be a stud for them in the future in the NBA. He's such a hard worker, such a good player, can do it on both ends of the court, can attack the rim, can obviously shoot the three ball, such a great skill set that he'll bring to the game. I think he'll be a pro for a long time. So super happy for him. But what really sells it to you is some of the video clips. So let's share a couple of those. One from when he was selected and another one from a brief interview that they did with him as well. This one here, when not this one, but the next one, when you see his grandfather, man, that's the one that really got you, had me tearing up, man. Super excited for Javon. Let's listen in here.
With the 48th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Javon Small from West Virginia University.
The emotion, the color coordination, all a piece of his moment. Javon, he played 4 seasons in college with 3 different schools, East Carolina for 2 seasons, Oklahoma State, and then played the last season with West Virginia, where he averaged 18 points, a huge jump from his freshman year at East Carolina when he averaged just 2. This is a man who is committed to the craft and to continue to grow.
Okay, so let me see if I can find the other video now. I thought I had it pulled up here. Let me see. Yeah, here's the other one right here above.
All right, we're going to turn our attention over to Javon's table because Pop is over there, and he is emotional, as he should be. Javon, when you see your grandfather with that much enthusiasm, what goes through your mind?
My family is just my world, man. Just seeing my papa over there with me, he took me to every single tournament since I was a little kid. Rarely misses any games, so, that's what I do it for.
As you now turn the page, though, and prepare for this opportunity in the NBA, one of the things that we loved as we prepared to chat with you was all those jumpers you knocked down during the combine. What is this organization getting as you join them?
They're just getting a competitor, hard worker, somebody that's going to bring positive energy every single day, and, they're just going to get a dog.
I must say this green suit is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so awesome stuff there for Javon, man, and just congratulations to Javon Small. No one's more deserving of that than him. So happy for him that he gets that, kind of storybook ending, if you want to call it that. And now, of course, I know he's going to work his butt off to be an excellent pro, and I have no doubt that he will do just that. So definitely wanted to highlight that on the basketball side. But then I have another roster addition to talk about. We know West Virginia had a few open spots here to try and fill this thing out with. And how about adding another freshman? I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Maybe coming in as a preferred walk-on. Haven't got 100% confirmation on that. But they are adding another freshman. We know they had DJ Thomas. They added Jaden Forsyth. And now they're adding a guard in MJ Finane. And let's pull it up here. Jeff Cobb sharing this on social media. WVU gained a commitment from 2025 guard MJ Finane of Columbus High School in Florida. He'll be the 3rd freshman on this year's roster. And I did read, funny enough, that Columbus High School, I think he plays with Carlos Boozer's sons, the 2 Boozer twins there at Columbus High School. And they were a pretty accomplished team here. If we pull up MJ Finane's social media. We can share his announcement or what he said here in a quote, and then I'll show you guys their record. I think they won a couple state titles at least. He says, my decision to commit really started with my family and how we were going to plan for my future and put me in a place for me to grow as a basketball, not only as a basketball player, but also as a person. And that, of course, was WVU for him. And if you look here on his social media, 4-time state champion, actually, and 3-time BL Peach Jam champion as well. A couple other AAU national championships thrown in there also. And now he'll come be a true freshman at WVU, adding to that roster as West Virginia tries to fill that out with the new 15-player scholarship limits that are in place. There's another guard we can add that they're adding from the high school ranks. But we know West Virginia is still probably going to add more transfers, right? And there's one that we have talked about previously. If you guys remember, I know it's been almost a couple weeks since we've had a chance to talk about basketball transfer targets, but the last one that we talked about was Arturo Dean, a guard out of Oklahoma State, which would be nice because it's a power conference transfer. It's an in-conference transfer. And one thing that stuck out to me that I really like about Mr. Dean is he's very tenacious on the defensive end, which would be an ideal fit for what Ross Hodge likes to do. And so we hadn't heard a lot about that since the initial contact was made, but perhaps we now have some positive news on Mr. Arturo Dean here on the basketball side, as according to the portal report, he was in Morgantown for a visit just this week, visiting Miami this week as well. So you got to expect the decision will come down soon for Mr. Dean, and likely going to be between West Virginia and Miami. It seems like for the guard who averaged 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and nearly 3 steals per game last season would be a huge pickup, guys, because I think, you could maybe even make a case that in debate between him and Jasper Floyd for the starting point guard role. Personally, I still think Jasper Floyd would be your starter, but this will be a hell of a guy to have as a reserve. And as we've kind of talked about in the past, what we really need to add at basketball, to round out this roster, the two main pieces, in my opinion, were a reserve guard that can play some for you and a reserve big man that can play some for you. Dean would certainly fit the category of the reserve guard, and hopefully we still go out and get a reserve big man there out of the portal as well. But keep an eye on Arturo Dean. Has visited WVU, so you know what that means. Here on the CRW, they get in on a visit. We throw them on commitment watch, so we are on commitment watch for Arturo Dean. So those are the basketball updates that I had there. Wanted to talk about Javon Small getting drafted. Wanted to hit on the new addition to the roster that's coming from the high school ranks. And then, of course, got to talk about Arturo Dean because it's a transfer I would love to pick up. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for future basketball updates. And if any of those commitments do come down the line, be it Mr. Dean or someone else, we'll report on that further as we keep you up to date in the lead up to Ross Hodge's debut season. But with that being said, let's switch gears now. Let's talk a little WVU football. Do got a couple of things that we need to hit on here for this. Let's lead it off with the recruit that football added here, because as you guys know, not only is the staff working on the 2026 class and doing an excellent job, 22 commits, covered all of them here, a lot of them coming throughout this month of June, but they've been doing, a little bit of work ahead, if you will, and working on that 2027 class. We knew they had Armand Hill, who was an incredible running back committed in that 2027 class already, that's put up ridiculous stats. And now they've added a second commitment to that 2027 class as linebacker Minikin Johnson commits to WVU. So 2 commits in the 2027 class thus far. Funny enough, both from the state of Pennsylvania now, as that is where Mr. Johnson hails from as well. Let's pull up his announcement, then we'll take a look at his recruiting profiles here and an update on a 2027 edition for the Mountaineers here. As he stated on social media just a couple of days ago, after a long talk with family and coaches, I'm more than blessed to announce I'm committing to West Virginia. And you see his commitment graphic that he shared there. So, of course, being a 2027 recruit, sometimes those guys aren't quite yet rated yet on the recruiting sites, but nonetheless, we'll pull up his pages and show you. Minicon Johnson here on Rivals, like we said, 6'2", 205, Bishop Canavan High School there in Pittsburgh. Had some other programs after him thus far. It's been Akron, Kent State, and West Virginia. Still super early in his recruiting process. As I said, we're talking about 2027 recruit here. There he is on Rivals. And then on 247, here is his profile there. Yet again, 6'2", 205. But he is actually rated already on 247. That's good to see, and highly rated at that. We're talking about an 86 graded 3-star that is a top 13 recruit in the state of Pennsylvania. So one of the top 15 recruits in the entire state of Pennsylvania. So, I was blown away by Armand Hill because of his impressive stats. He was pretty highly rated, but, Minicon Johnson, don't sleep on him. Very highly rated here as far as linebackers are concerned in this class, and as far as his ranking within the state. He's also a top 40 linebacker in the nation thus far in the 2027 class. So a really good early pickup here for West Virginia as they continue to try and build this thing out with the addition of Minicon Johnson. And let's learn a little bit more about him courtesy of Keenan Cummings over on Rivals. He does a good job talking about some of these commitments in his Commitment 101 articles. Let's turn to that one here. So 6'2", 205, picked the Mountaineers over scholarship offers from Kent State and Akron and moved quickly in making his choice. That's because the football program had only extended an offer to Johnson at the 7-on-7 event in mid-June. So, it didn't take him long to commit there. Competed with his team and caught the eye of the coaching staff, earning a scholarship offer from defensive analyst and assistant linebackers coach Andrew Warwick. He was also able to speak with Zach Alley and Rich Rod. Mountaineers are slotting Johnson at the linebacker position, impressed with his physical skill set, as well as how good he could move at the spot. Second 2027 prospect, as we talked about there. Here's his skill set. He has a great frame to fill out and is an athletic linebacker that can operate in space and seems to be at his best on the edge. He can run well for his size and plays the game with awareness, has good length, and is a solid tackler off the edge when asked to disrupt the quarterback. Plays with a good motor and is able to run down plays from behind, given his athletic abilities. He shows good concentration and the ability to make plays on the ball when it's in the air. He's an aggressive defender that's hard to block, given his ability to run. His best football certainly ahead of him, which is what we like to hear, and a good write-up there from Keenan Cummings, giving us a little bit of info on Minicon Johnson. So there's the second addition West Virginia now has to the 2027 recruiting class, joining Armand Hill. So I had to highlight that. And then we got to talk here on the football side about this running back room, right? I've been telling you guys all off season, you guys know my love for Jaheim going way back to when he first came onto campus. And that, of course, has persisted, and getting to pair him with a Rich Rod offense just has me, salivating about what the prospects of that could be, with him and Rich Rod's scheme. But then throughout the offseason, a lot of the moves that we've made, I've been telling you guys, oh my gosh, I'm getting blown away by what we're adding to the running back room because it just keeps getting better. I mean, Ty Edwards, who's, 240 pounds from the FCS level and can run at that size. And we're going to talk about how good all these guys can run. We're going to show you guys some 40 times that'll back up what I'm kind of teasing here. So Ty Edwards, I was excited about him. And then we get Jalen Knighton, who you guys have seen me rave about him and when we received his commitment here via the transfer portal. Home run waiting to happen. Super explosive guy from, multiple Power 5 stops at Miami and SMU. Then we had Cannon Katzer, who I think was probably really underrated. And then top it off with Sincere Bowers, who's maybe, you thought, could this guy be the fastest of them all? Turns out the answer to that question may be yes. And you're looking like this running back room is absolutely loaded, because let's not forget Clay Ash still around, Dior Hubbard still around, who had a really good spring. So you're like, okay, West Virginia has some running backs. This room is loaded, but they may be even more talented and more explosive than we previously thought. And I had pretty high expectations going in. So let's look a little bit about what I'm talking about. Look at these 40 times for the West Virginia running back room. I think one thing of note here, which this article is from Schuyler, Carolina, WVU SI, but this screenshot's been floating around multiple places. Let's take a look here. See if I can pull it up so we can get the full shot of it here. Let's see. I'm trying to get just a picture here. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Okay, here it is. So, perhaps most impressive about this to me, besides Sincere Bowers, that's incredible. We'll get to that in a second. But I think Jaheim White, if you've seen the picture going around on social media, I know I've shared it on our socials. It was going around there for a while, of the size that Jaheim White has gained this year. I mean, incredible muscle gain. So the one question you had when you saw that was, is that going to make him lose a step? Well, I'm here to tell you, he had knee surgery in the offseason. He put on that muscle and that weight. And look at his 40 time. He's done that and hasn't lost a step. 4.4. 4.4840 for Jaheim White. Blazing fast as expected. Probably the only surprising thing here on this list is the fact that he's not the fastest at the running back position. And that just shows you how much West Virginia found an absolute hidden gem, diamond in the rough, whatever you want to call it, in Sincere Bowers, the running back that they recently added. And he is running a 4.35. That's extremely, extremely fast, guys. You're talking, top end speed guys. That's speed that guys, like Slayton, Divine, Austin, Alford, people like that hit that type of speed when you're talking sub 4.4 and getting in the 4.3s. So that's awesome to see Sincere Bowers already hitting that. He's going to be explosive throughout his career here at WVU. But you look at the rest of the room, even, I told you guys Jalen Knighton could hit home runs 4.58. I think that definitely shows that's rings true. How about Cannon Katzer, though? 4.56. He looked quick on tape, but that certainly shows up in the 40 times. You get Dewey Hubbard at a 4.6, Clay Ash at a 4.62, and Big Ty Edwards, running a 4.63 at 240 pounds is pretty dang impressive. So, every running back in the room is pretty much very low 4.6 or below, which is extremely good. West Virginia wasn't joking when they said they wanted to get faster, and they did it in multiple positions. I mean, you look through the receivers here, and you're seeing 4.5s, 4.4s. Justin Smith-Brown, that was recently added from South Carolina State, a 4.4 flat, is extremely impressive because that's pretty much dead even with Cam Vaughn, who we know has a ton of speed. Which is one of the players I was most excited for West Virginia gain in the portal. We just need EA Sports to know about Cam Vaughn's speed because they continue to underrate his speed rating on the game, but I digress on that. Cam Vaughn, 4.41. That shows you why he had the huge yards per catch numbers, why he put up the numbers that he did last year at Jack State, and why I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 for West Virginia this upcoming season. A lot of good speeds here showcased across the running back position and the wide receiver position, but I was absolutely blown away by Sincere Bowers, how fast he is. I had a feeling that he was fast, but didn't think he was that fast to where he's, even faster than Jaheim White. And I think, like I said, super excited that Jaheim White maintains this speed with the size that he added, despite the knee surgeries, all of that. Just yet again does nothing but raise my excitement level to see him and all of these running backs, this loaded running back room in a Rich Rod offense. It's going to be a lot of fun for 2025. And the last thing that I have here is, when we see it this upcoming season, we will now know what the crowd will be looking like in Mountaineer Field when we see those running backs running wild, as we've had the game promotions announced from the university. So this is the last thing I got, and I'll catch up on some of y'all's comments that are in here live before we wrap up this late night stream here. But the game promos for the upcoming season. Now, we have several listed here, but we don't have all listed. I know that's kind of probably the question that immediately popped into everyone's head is, oh, man, what about the throwback unis? What about the Coal Rush? What about the True Blue? So I'll go ahead and hit right here at the bottom. There's some fine print you can see, and it says the 1965 throwbacks, the Coal Rush, and True Blue will be announced at a later date pending game time selections. Obviously, for the Coal Rush, you need a night game, so that's why you kind of got to wait on game times to know which game that one's going to be for. And maybe they're thinking similarly for the throwbacks. And then, of course, True Blue, I guess they're just kind of wait and see on that one in general as to which one they're going to go with here, because I'd say it'll be on, one of these here that are listed. Because when you look here at Utah, TCU, Colorado, and Texas Tech, I think that they're kind of stating that these are kind of all the other 4 options, because you don't see really any jersey or crowd themes tied into those games. But you, of course, know that you have 3 others that you're going to sign at some point. But what we know thus far is the first game of the season against old Bobby Moe, Robert Morris, will be our Gold Rush. It'll also be Family Day. And the big one, 9/13 against Spit, the one we're really all got circled on the calendar, is going to be our Strike the Stadium game. Then September 27th against Utah will be Hall of Fame weekend. October 25th against TCU is going to be homecoming. Military Appreciation / Mountaineer Week will be November 8th against Colorado. And, of course, Senior Day, their final home game of the season, November 29th against Texas Tech. So there it is, guys. That's what I had. Wanted to hit on the recruits for both basketball and football. Had to talk about those 40 times and just hammer home yet again how loaded West Virginia's running back room is, and wanted to hit on the game promos a little bit. So that's pretty much what I had. Get to some of your all's comments, then we will call this a live stream. But appreciate you guys watching live, whether you watch on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Those of you that watch on Facebook or Twitch, be sure to come over to the Country Roads Webcast YouTube channel. Subscribe here so you can get the pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes. Going to have a pre-recorded video coming out hopefully tomorrow. If not, definitely we'll have it coming out over the weekend as more players have been added to the West Virginia roster now officially. A couple of the JUCO guys, some of the true freshmen now added. So got another roster update video coming in the near future. So if you're someone that watches these live streams on Facebook or Twitch, you'll have to come over to the YouTube side to check out that video and get up to date on the West Virginia roster this weekend on the football side for the upcoming season. But appreciate you guys tuning in any way that you choose to do so. If you are someone that watches here on YouTube, whether live or on the playback, you can hit that thumbs up button, help us out with the algorithm. If you didn't get a chance to chat live, throw your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate those interactions. And you guys on the audio side, which you can find on any podcast platform, leave us a rating. That helps us out there. With that being said, I'm going to take a swig of my water and catch up on these comments. All right. Devil Dog 44 said, I'm putting 25 on WVU to hit the trifecta and win a natty in all three major men's sports. If I win, Wagyu ribeyes for everyone. Hey, man, if you win and that happens, not only should you win that money, but you should go play the lottery too for calling it right now, Devil Dog 44. But hey, hell yeah, I'll take a Wagyu ribeye, medium rare, please. Thank you. That's awesome, Devil Dog 44. Hey, my guy Eric Flowers, what's up, man? He says, glad you're still rolling, Jordan. Just checking on some other WVU podcasts and a couple have given up. Glad you were still rolling. Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll keep it coming here, man. We'll keep it coming, for as long as possible. I don't plan on stopping talking about WVU anytime soon. So, yeah, I'll be around, Eric. I'll be around, man. Appreciate the kind words. Shaq, channel member. Hey, good to see you, brother. He says, holy shit, I made it live. Everyone, please like and share. Help the video, help the guy. Hey, appreciate that a lot, Shaq. Appreciate the kind words. I'm glad to see you in here for a live. I know I usually catch you in the comments on the playback and stuff, but glad you got a chance to hop in for our live. I know it's hard to do because YouTube's so inconsistent with their notifications. Half the time they don't send them or they send them late and all of that. But hey, glad to see you hopped into this one. Glad to see that. Devil Dog 44 says, we really need at least 1 to 2 developmental players on the basketball side for a few recruiting cycles so we don't have to depend on portal fines yearly. Exactly. And you're going to have some of those in these final couple of roster spots. I think you just got one of those, of course, that we talked about here with the young man that's joining as a freshman this upcoming season. And, probably you could even factor Abraham Oyedir in as another one of those as well that has decided to return to the team as a big man, although he's probably going to have to log, maybe 4 to 6 minutes per game, maybe more if we don't add another big man. But even if we add another big man, he might get a handful of minutes in some games, especially early in the season. But you definitely do need those guys. You need to round out your roster. And, with the way that things are, you don't have enough money to go out and get top end guys for every one of the 15 roster spots. The way West Virginia did it this time around, I think is a good formula for them. Get your starters, your main rotation guys, make sure you get those guys, pay them the most money, then fill in your roster from there after the fact with, reserve players, those developmental guys that you're talking about. And that's kind of, I think, the way that you're seeing it go down here for sure. A Jersey Year says we got like 4 to 5 guys who can 100% carry the load. I agree 100%. I think that, Rich Rod's talked that he likes to have at least 3 guys ready to roll in that running back room. I think he has that and more because as you look at it, of course, Jaheim White's ready to go, going to be one of the best running backs in the conference and potentially in the nation, in my opinion. Ty Edwards has shown he can do it at the FCS level. He can certainly be your short yardage back, your go-to back in goal line situations, all of those things. Jalen Knighton has done it at the Power 5 level at multiple spots. He can be a home run hitter. That's 3 right there, and that's just upperclassmen. Sincere Bowers, you think he's got the speed to go after you see his 40 time? Dior Hubbard, they liked him in the spring. Yeah. You're getting up there with, a handful plus of guys there, Jersey Year, easily, for sure. If your big package sub is sub 4.6 in the 40, I foresee many opponents pushing the envelope on injuries and get a rest for the defense. That's the ability to use the entire field. Exactly, Devil Dog. It's pretty crazy that we've got a running back that big still running that fast. Incredible running back room West Virginia has for the upcoming season. It gets me super excited. Channel member Shaq says, I scored a signed authentic WVU helmet, Rich, and some other signatures as well, including Pat White from a customer I delivered to. She's related to them. She's in the works for getting it for me. Oh, that's awesome, Shaq. That's awesome, man. You looked out on that one. That's cool, man. That's pretty sweet. I got Rich's autograph on a pair of shoes back when I was in like middle school. They're still in my closet. There's another story that goes into that, but I won't divulge into that right now. Running out of time here this evening. Don't want to keep you guys too late, but you guys have probably heard it in the channel in the past. If not, ask me in the comments. I'll share it to you there. And then of course I got Pat's right here on this picture. Actually got Pat's on a couple pictures. I think I got the one with a lot of quarterbacks on it. I got Pat Majors on it, but on the helmet, it's awesome, especially the authentic helmet, dude. Those are sick. I'd love to have one of those. As you can see, I stick with the mini helmets. They're a little bit more in my price range. The full size ones can get a little bit pricey, but I would love to have one. So if I can get one eventually one day, especially an authentic one, that'd be sweet. I got a couple of the authentic game used jerseys they used to sell when they would switch jersey sets. Got a couple of those, and those are pretty cool. But that's awesome, Shaq. Congrats to you for that one. But speaking of mini helmets, I think they have the throwback helmet going on sale soon and available for pre-order. And I think they're supposed to deliver in like September. So I'll probably try and order one of those. And when it comes in, I'll probably do an unboxing video for it, like I have for some of the other mini helmets, the Country Roads ones and the Coal Rush one as well. So that'll probably be in the works in the future, but pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Jersey Ear says, going to be wild how they divide the carries up this year. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they plan to do it. If it was me, I think obviously Jaheim's going to get the hefty majority. I think Ty Edwards will be in short yardage. And I thought, for sure that Jalen Knight would be the next one up to get the next most carries. But with Sincere Bowers, looking as explosive as he is, that's debatable, I think, now. That's debatable, I think. But, the experience certainly lies with Knight and Edwards. They're both seniors, and, of course, Jaheim. So, if you want to have go experience first, those are probably your top candidates. But explosiveness is certainly there for Bowers and Cannon Katzer as well, for that matter. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. It'll be interesting to see. And, of course, you hate to bring it up, and I'll knock on wood, but, hypothetical wood, because that's actually glass, but the sentiments there, right? Because you don't want to bring it up, but the injury thing, of course, is always something you got to worry about in football. So I think the fact that we have a deep running back room bodes well for that as well, especially with how much Rich Rod likes to run the football. Shaq says as soon as he gets the helmet, he'll show me the picture. I appreciate that, Shaq. Yeah, definitely shoot it over to me. I'd love to see that. Jersey Ear says, just got to hope the O-line comes together now. Exactly. Fingers crossed. That's my biggest question mark for the upcoming season, and definitely biggest question mark for the offense. I think they've added plenty of pieces that I really like. It's just who's going to be the best five, and are they going to gel together right away? That's the question that remains to be answered, but got a good feeling about it. I love these transfer pickups that West Virginia's brought in. Love a lot of the pieces that we have on this roster, and I think it's going to be a fun upcoming season. With that loaded running back room that's speedy, and you saw some of the speed out there at wideout as well. Speed all over the field. It's going to be fun to watch that up-tempo Rich Rod offense this upcoming season. But that's what I had here, guys. Wanted to hit on those recruiting updates. Was excited to get to do a joint show, talk both WVU basketball and WVU football in one stream for the first time in a while. So, like I said, I'll have a pre-recorded video coming out hopefully at some point tomorrow. It'll definitely be out over the weekend for a WVU football roster update, as we've added some more players to the roster. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll be back to chat with you guys again here in the near future. Sure, we'll have plenty of news coming out, whether it's WVU football related or WVU basketball related. Fingers crossed it could be good news for basketball on the portal side there, as we'll keep our eyes on Arturo Dean. But whatever it is that pops up, you guys know I'll be back for another live stream here in short order and to chat with you guys again in the near future. And looking forward to that, just like I'm looking forward to Coach Hodges' debut season and the Rich Rod 2.0 era, like a lot of you all are as well. And we're getting close to that, getting closer and closer to fall camp, and I'll keep you guys up to date on the news as we make our way there. So that'll do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one, and let's go Mountaineers.